For sure, actually, when we wrote our essay, I got into depth about like my mom coming here and like how it actually happened. Um, and obviously, like the first thing for any immigrant is that you have to like drop your life in a country that you know to go to America without knowing like what's gonna happen, just so like your kids will have a better life. So that sacrifice alone for any immigrant is like amazing in itself. But I know that when she actually arrived here, she lived in like this little attic room in my aunt's house, and it was like really different from what she expected, because like the American movies showed like suburbs and houses. So living in like a small San Francisco house, specifically in an attic room, was not what she expected. She like felt weird of like, like I have to raise a family in like this little room, and like it's really hard to navigate the transportation around here. I don't know anybody. I don't speak English yet. So the first couple days or weeks or whatever being here, like she would like cry because she was like, crap, I left everything for this, and this is not what I expected. And to push through that and like find a job and like try to figure out how to raise and save money for me to be where I am now is a huge sacrifice that I could never repay her for.
So in order for my mom to come to America, I was born in Canada, and so in order for my mom to come to America, she had to leave me like, right after I was born for like a year and a half, just so she could get citizenship. And so like I never had that like nurturing feeling of a mom. Like she never like took care of me when I was younger, and it was always my dad. And then when we came to America, my dad actually bet it all on the restaurant. And so, like, yeah, he would work 16-hour days, wake up from like 3:30 a.m., come home at 7. And like, yeah, those are sacrifices. Like, I did not get that when I was a child, but like, now I realize that those sacrifices were made for me to experience America.
I moved here from the Philippines when I was around 2, and I came with my mom. So the whole 2 years, for the first 2 years of my life, my dad was not present because he was in America. I was too young to even comprehend what was going on, really. But once me and my mom moved to America, she had a few more kids, and she was able to be a stay-at-home mom because my dad worked long nights and long days. He was basically working graveyard shifts every night. And I grew up in a house with all my other cousins, so it was a full house. My mom pretty much had to feed every single one of my cousins growing up, and this one time she had a dispute with one of my uncles on my dad's side. He was telling her that the kids that she was babysitting were being too loud and he couldn't concentrate on whatever he was doing. So he came into our room and told us to quiet down. My mom wasn't having it. She said that she was pretty much saying that like we're kids, we're gonna have fun and stuff and be loud if we want to. And he threatened to stab her in the neck, and he threatened to have her kicked out and stab her in the neck. And I feel like that was the first time that I saw my mom cry. And it was my dad's brother, and my mom had confronted my dad about it, and he did not do anything about it. I feel like my mom definitely made a lot of sacrifices for my family.
Yeah, I have one younger brother. He's 3 years younger than me, and he was definitely babied more than I was. My mom really wanted to strive to make me an independent woman since she was, because my dad was never around, so she always had to work every day, and my grandma would take care of me when my mom would work. And the things that she would do to me, like whenever I would go outside or hang out with my friends, I couldn't even go trick-or-treating. She would just like call me a million times and leave me like crazy voicemails about like where I am and I should be home. But then when it came to my brother, like she wouldn't do it to him. So I felt like that was kind of unfair. But I do see where she was coming from, because like sometimes it's dangerous for girls to walk around at night. But I do feel that she should have gave me a little bit more freedom than what my brother has. And also when I turned 18, she told me that I had to find my own house and I had to be on my own. But she would help me, but then she wanted me to do that because she felt like that was my path, since she had the same path. But my brother like still lives at home with my mom, and like she has no intention of kicking him out.
So I have like an older sister, and so she's so much smarter than me and like better, talented, everything. But growing up, she was always like she couldn't go out as much as I could because she was like, you know, a girl, and my parents thought that she couldn't handle herself, but little did they know that she whooped my ass every day growing up, so she could handle herself, definitely.
I also grew up with a bunch of my other cousins, so I did recognize how different they were being treated, as opposed to me and my girl cousins were being treated. To this day, they get put on a certain pedestal because they're men. They're allowed to do certain things like go out, party, smoke and drink, but I post one thing, like one controversial thing, like 5 family members will come talking to me about it and ask me like, what's up with this post?
By taking this class recently, I've noticed it more and more in like daily living, I guess, and I noticed that like my parents believe in like that mentality of like, you know, that America is so great, and like even though they run a Filipino bakery, like they still believe that America is really awesome, but I don't buy into that.
The biggest thing that I have fallen victim to is like believing like the American way is the right way and anything else is the wrong way. It's like the lack of importance in learning Tagalog now. Like that idea was like, oh, that makes sense because in America you need to know English and that's what's most important. And I fall into that idea when in reality there's a huge importance in keeping Tagalog or any Filipino language alive. And just seeing relatives who are still in the Philippines who like receive balakbayan boxes and like look at anything in there that's from America, whether it's from like a Goodwill from America, that it's like the best thing in the world because it's American, is like showing me that that thing still exists, and for some reason America is seen as like this god of a country that should be hailed.
I have a lot of like extended family members who voted for Donald Trump, and at first I didn't understand like why my family members were voting for him, and it was only until I took this class and I learned about all the concepts and just everything that goes behind the mentality of people who think that they're below.
Yeah, actually, after taking this class and learning about colonial mentality, it really opened my eyes to different perspectives and how people thought in their mind and their heart, because like I feel like a lot of Asian cultures in general have to really hide their personal feelings, and they can't really show their inner thoughts because they'll feel like ashamed, or they wouldn't want anyone to look down on them. For example, in my family, one concept that we learned in class was lihim, which is a culture of silence, and I feel like my family like embodies that word. Like for my whole life, they've always been kind of silent about their personal experiences or struggles. There would only be like moments in time when my grandma would have these really crazy bursts of anger that would show her inner thoughts. Like, for example, like a pan dropping on the floor, or something on TV that she was upset about, or like even watching wrestling. Like whenever she watched wrestling, she would really show her anger, and she would like pretty much like express it through wrestling. And this was how she kind of fought with herself. Like for example, when the wrestler would try to defeat his opponent, she'll be like, kill him, throw him out the window, put him in the backyard. That was always what she said. She's like, throw him in the backyard. That was her line. And it was just so funny, like back then hearing those lines. But then now that I think about it, I'm like, wow, like this is actually how she felt probably inside, like coming to America, feeling oppressed and having to assimilate to American culture. Like, this is how I realized that she had PTSD.